So today I'm going to talk about the 7 things that you need to be doing if you're struggling to get past 25K a month. But before I jump in today's episode, if you have not been to our website, check out nextlevelwholesaling.com. And there I have an awesome gift for you. It's the Next Level Wholesaling Assessment. And what it's going to do is going to rate you in the 4 major areas of your wholesaling business. And it'll take you about 3 to 5 minutes, super easy. But when you take it, it's going to become abundantly clear on what you need to do to start making a crap ton more money in your wholesaling business, how you can free yourself from the treadmill of working all the time and just hustling to that deal, and really show you the path to freedom. If you want a business that's going to spit off cash month after month after month without your personal day-to-day involvement, go ahead and check out that assessment, my gift to you. All right, so let's talk about the 7 things that you got to do if you want to get past 25K a month. And I find that the 25K a month is like the wholesaler's epidemic. You know, you see a lot of people on Facebook and they flash that check for $10, $15, $20,000. And hey, congratulations, good for them. The question is, can you do it every month, multiple times a month, month after month after month after month after month? Okay, and that is the way that you build a profitable business. Big deals consistently every single month that are highly profitable. Okay, and what I mean by highly profitable is, yes, it is my recommendation that you have some form of team, but it doesn't need to be a ton of people. You can make $1 million a year with just a couple of people, with one of those people being a virtual assistant. So I want to encourage you that, 50K a month, 75K a month is certainly achievable. 25K a month in this business, if you're spending money on marketing, is, in my opinion, maybe not why you got into the business, right? Because 25K a month, you are going to be eating into, there's expenses associated with that, right? And so 25K a month is not 25K a month, right? Your business, my hope for you is that you're running 35 to a 60% profit margin, maybe you're more, but you got to be doing at least that. So I'm going to talk about the 7 things that you need to do if you're trying to break through. And I'm telling you, once you get to that first 50K a month, you want more. And then you do the 75, and then you do 100. And then when you do less than 100, you are like, man, oh man, this month sucked if it's less than 100. So, all right. So the number one thing that I feel that you can do, and by the way, I should not say the word feel, because all of these things are facts. I've done over 1,400 deals. I've used almost every single imaginable marketing channel. I've trained dozens of acquisition specialists. I've trained the country's best wholesalers, the best educators. Most of them have come from my coaching tree, and so I know what works. I know what the most profitable wholesalers do versus the ones who just want to flash their checks on social media. By the way, I don't have a problem with that. If you want to flash your check, go for it. But my listeners, my students, my private clients, I want you to have an insanely profitable business, all right? I want you to have an MBA, and that's not a college degree I'm talking about. I'm talking about a massive bank account. So number 1, automate your marketing. I find that most people do RAM, random acts of marketing, and this used to be me. I used to market when I felt like it, when I got a deal, when I had a bunch of leads and I felt confident to do so, and you got to get off that feeling of emotion. You have to plan, and then you have to execute, even when you're scared to do it. Marketing is scary, right? Because you're putting out money every single month. But I see people piss away money all the time on money that they just waste. I can't think of a better investment than marketing for your wholesaling business. And so my recommendation is, whatever marketing channel that you do, plan to spend a certain amount of money every single month of doing that. If you're trying to get to 50K a month, right, you're trying to break through 25, hopefully you're not saying, okay, I want to do 26. So I'm assuming that you want to break past 25 and get to that 50K a month. My recommendation is to spend at least $5,000 a month and closer to $7,500 a month to get to that 50,000. And I got to tell you, if you're spending $7,500 a month and you're making 50K, that's a pretty good investment. I don't know another place where you could put in $1, right, and get 7.5 back, right? 5 back, 7.5 back, 10 back. So, that's about 7.5 times your marketing. My favorite marketing channel is fastsellerleads.com. I talk a lot about it on the podcast. You basically sign up for a free account and you sign up for the market that you want to get leads from. You then say what you're willing to pay per lead, and then Fast Seller Leads will give you exclusive leads in your market. I find that on those are some of the better leads that you will receive, right? Obviously, every single marketing channel, you're only going to close a small portion. I don't care what it is, but this is towards the lower end. So we have found that we close about 1 out of every 30 leads. Sometimes it's 1 out of 35, sometimes it's 1 out of 8, but over time we see 1 out of every 30 leads. So do the math there. Know what you could pay per lead. Your deal should cost you around, right, $3,500 in acquisition in some markets. If you're in a super competitive market, it's going to cost you close to $7,500 in acquisition. But if you're doing a $50,000 deal, that is a smoking return. So automate your marketing. If you're doing direct mail, get a schedule, get a list, find out how many pieces you need to mail, and mail week after week after week after week after week. Drop them every Friday. So then on Monday morning, that mail is hitting. Choo, 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 choo. And those leads just pile up. And over time, you create a tsunami of a pipeline. So that leads me to number 2, is hustling around, run around like a chicken like your head cut off may work for a period of time. But if you want to do business consistently, you got to run a business. And you can't take new seller leads in your car or when you're out at a baseball game or when you're hanging out with your kids. This used to be me, right? Phone used to ring. I used to pick up my cell phone. And believe me, when I first started, you guys are going to laugh at me. I had a little flip phone, little Samsung flip phone over there. I had no screen and no iPhone or anything like that. And that's how my leads used to come in. But whenever I took calls, okay, and this is after my first year in business, I had what we call lead sheets. And you always opened up your call with a lead sheet in front of you. I wrote down the name and number of the seller, and then I had folders. This is before CRMs existed. And so I would put them 1 through 30, and I would follow up on a certain day per month. By the way, you could still use that system. It still works just fine. And it's a great visual way to do it. But I see so many people just lose leads in the car, right? They're driving and a hot lead comes in. And I got to tell you, like 70 to 80% of the people who call you are not going to do business with you today. And so if you don't put that in your CRM or you don't have a tracking way, you just lost that lead. You're not going to follow up. It's sloppy. It's crumpled up someplace. I know this because this used to be me. For me, never again. Number 3, hire a lead manager, right? So you'll notice there's a little bit of order there. Number 1, you need to generate the leads, right? Number 2 is you don't want to lose the lead by answering it someplace you're not ready. 3 is you got to follow up properly. And I find that most people don't follow up properly because they don't have the time. That's why you hire a lead manager. What is a lead manager? A lead manager is somebody who, number 1, can answer your new leads, but number 2, they're following up constantly on all the people who did not do business with you before. Whenever we dig into our database, we pull money out, and so can you. That's where the majority of the money is coming from. And so your job is to be a hard-hitting closer, to meet with sellers who have a problem and you help them. That is where your money is, face-to-face, or training acquisition specialist. That's going to be really, really, really important. So the biggest thing there is if you want to get past that $25K a month, you got to follow up. And if you're not going to do it, right, you shouldn't be like, oh man, I've got to follow up. If you're not going to do it, just spend the money and hire a lead manager. And you could be like, Todd, I can't afford it. No, you can't afford not to do this. Think about all the deals you're just pissing away. All right, number 4, you got to focus on fewer, better deals. The $10,000 deal in wholesaling, in my opinion, will not keep you in business. Either is the $15,000 deal. You need to get your deals up to $30,000, $35,000, $50,000 a pop. Now, you may do smaller deals, and I understand that, but you want to make that the exception, not the rule. In my business right now, we've got a $100,000 deal closing. We've got a $30,000 deal closing, and we have two $20,000 deals closing. And then I'm working on a very, very, very big deal that I'm not even going to say on this podcast, but it's big, really, really, really big. The two $20,000 deals were disappointments, quote unquote, according to my team, right? And so that was the exception rather than the rule. And so they were really, 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 really focused again on those big deals. That being said, you're like, Todd, you did two $20,000 deals. Well, notice we were disappointed with the 20. We're not disappointed with the $2,000 and the $3,000. All right. Number 5 is you got to get a bookkeeper. Okay. And you're like, Todd, what did the bookkeeper get me past 25 or 50K a month? I'll tell you why. Because I find that most business owners, never mind just wholesalers, don't know how much money they're making every single month. And so once you get that optics, man, oh man, you are going to be surprised. And so if you've got a good bookkeeper, and they don't cost that much, if you've got a bookkeeper, they're going to be inputting your income and your expenses every single month, and they're going to be putting a line item, and it's going to be so empowering. Because at the end of the day, if you've got a business that's making $50,000 gross a month, and let's say you're running at a 50% profit margin, hey, now you're making, let's say $25,000 or $30,000 a month profit. That's pretty good, right? You're feeling good. You've got profit on the books, and now you could see it rather than running in the dark. Now, if you're running super high expenses and you've got a bookkeeper, and all of a sudden you say, oh my gosh, I did 25 this month, but I only kept $5,000, that's going to give you a feeling that you're not going to like. And so you're going to go out and you're going to be like, I need to do better. So you keep score and you understand the metrics in your business, even just the bookkeeping. I mean, it's completely worth it, but it's like flashing the score in front of you every single month. All right, next, number 6, and this goes along with 1 through 5, but in order here. You got to take a salary out of your business every single month. So you don't want to get into the I'm going to take money out of the business when I feel like it. Remember, the business is supposed to serve you, not the other way around. So every single month I take a salary out of my business. And number 2 is I have a automatic withdrawal that also takes a set amount of profit outside of my business. And some people use some fancy, accounting like profit first. But, the one thing I would recommend is that if you don't want to get that complicated, take a salary out via paycheck, and then also take a set amount every single month just via, say, like a profit. Okay. And so when you do that, you are guaranteed to keep a certain amount coming out of your business. Or when you do, you're going to see your business bank account start to dwindle, right? And you're going to be like, holy crap, my business is going to go broke. And so if you are pulling an appropriate amount, and by the way, I recommend you can start out here between the two of your general average profit, your gross deal size. If you're not splitting them with any partners, typically you can start out at about 30%. 30%. And again, this can vary. So don't be like, oh, Todd, my business is different. But if you're doing $25,000 a month, I would start taking out in a combination of salary and quote unquote like dividend, about a third of that, right? So that's 5,000 is about $7,500. Start taking that out. Now, that does not mean that you can't take more of your money out of your business over time. But what you want to do is once that money comes out, right, and it goes into your personal account, you now are going to have a true, vision of what that business looks like, right? Because now you're going to be forced to operate some more. You're going to have a little bit less of a cushion. And now that money is in your personal account, not in your business account. Number 7 is you're going to demand more, right? And all of these were in this order for this specific reason, because if now you know how much money you're making, and now you're taking a salary out, and now you see your salary and you're not comfortable, you got to demand more. If you don't ask, you don't get. And that includes asking it of yourself, being in an uncomfortable situation. If you actually know, a lot of people don't want to know how much they're making, so they put their head in the sand and they just like, oh, everything's hunky-dory. Demand more of yourself and the money will come. What do I mean by that? It's not like some voodoo magic. If you demand more, if you're looking at your numbers, you now are going to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to make that extra call, or I'm going to negotiate that extra $10,000 with a seller, or I'm going to negotiate an extra $5,000 to $10,000 with this buyer, right? You go and find the money. And that is the game changing. And this stuff is so simple, but I can tell you it works. So number one, automate your marketing. Okay. You want to spend about 15% of gross. If you want to make $50K a month, you're going to have to spend about $7,500. Number two, don't take calls in your car. Make sure you're in front of your CRM, or you've got your lead sheets in front of you. Take it seriously. 3, hire a lead manager if you don't have time to follow up. 4, focus on fewer, better deals. 5, check out a bookkeeper or get one like right now. 6, take a salary out every single month. And 7, demand more of yourself. You do these 7, I'm telling you right now, you're going to start to see 25K all day, and then you're going to be off to $50,000 a month. All right. If you have not been over to nextlevelwholesaling.com, go ahead, take the assessment. Let me know your score is. And man, I'd love to hear from you. So if you want to find me on social media, you can always @Todd Toback me, and I will talk to you on the next episode.